Baby, you can't blame me. I'm a Costa Rican dude. Come on. Oh my God.
I just saw Black Panther Wakanda Forever and I liked it. This film is directed by Ryan Coogler and also written by Ryan Coogler and co-written by Joe Robert Cole, the same duo that brung us Black Panther, Just Black Panther. They come again with the sequel, Black Panther, Just Wakanda Forever. In this movie, King T'Challa has died. Due to his passing, Wakanda no longer has a hero or king, which has left them vulnerable to foreign powers. One of those powers are no more in the hidden nation of Talakan, who is destined to stay hidden by any means necessary, even if it means the end of Wakanda itself. I think that pretty much summarizes what this movie is. It's a big tribute to Chadwick Boseman / T'Challa in general. That's pretty much how they start off the movie, as pretty much giving a funeral to Chadwick Boseman. You don't really realize that the man is dead until you kind of see this movie. I mean, like, you always know Chadwick Boseman is dead, but when you see that casket rise up into the ship, you kind of realize, oh no, this is really the end. There is no going back from here. I feel like before we talk about this movie, I feel like we have to talk about its predecessor, Black Panther, Just Black Panther. I know a lot of people don't know that is the actual title. No one knows this. You know, they don't really say it like that a lot, but here I am telling you the truth. I am the Alex Jones of movies. You will love these movies. I didn't love that first film. I thought it was practically bland, pretty generic. I felt like Ryan was hired to make a movie, and he made it. You know, he made it to the best of his ability, but I never felt like it was inspired while I was watching it, except for the more Killmonger parts. For the more Killmonger parts, I felt like he was inspired. He put something behind the camera. He put something behind Eric Killmonger that really made you feel intrigued by his character and his story, and really made you want to watch it the whole way through. But like I said, I just feel like it feels more like a product. You know, he got hired to make this movie. He made it. It was his job. He did his job. He went home. He got his paycheck. With this movie, I feel like that all changed. He wasn't hired to make this movie. He wanted to make this movie. Even though this movie does improve on everything that I think Black Panther was on its filmmaking aspect, like, I feel like everything is one bit better than its predecessor of Black Panther, Just Black Panther. I think the overall pacing of this movie is where it's going to lead people towards a sense of they don't know how to really handle it, which is why I'm thinking most people are coming out liking the original Black Panther more than they're liking this one. Is mainly due to that pacing issue that I think it somewhat has. Now, I think I said this in the Tar review, when it comes to character stories and stuff like that, the pacing gets sort of weird because, well, it's a character story. So you're following everything the character does. So if the character stops and is reflective for a second, you are also going to stop and be reflective as well. If they're going, then you're going. Where this movie has a little bit of that, like I said, with Queen Ramonda or Angela Bassett's character, and Shuri, Letitia Wright's character, both of their stories are slowly paced. They're methodical, they're emotional, they're slowly paced. You really get a chance for everything to breathe. I feel like Ryan is writing their dialogue because it feels like he's writing a letter to what T'Challa means, or Chadwick Boseman meant to the crew, to the cast, and to the MCU as a whole. So they really take their time on those scenes, and they're slow. Whereas the Namor stuff is more main plot stuff, and that's where you get the regular pacing that you're used to from, say, a superhero movie or an MCU movie. It's paced out sort of quick, it's snappy, it's to the point. You'll have scenes where it'll end on dialogue, which goes into the next scene, and you have action scenes that are dispersed in between there. But like I said, that scene is a lot more quicker, it's a lot more faster. But you have the Shuri scenes and the Queen Wanda scenes where it'll slow down. There's no action. Every piece of dialogue is said to a succession. There is no stop, start, break, non-break, everything is going. So when you have something like that happening, it sort of leaves it to a weird pace where you can't really grasp how the movie wants you to move with it. Because at one point, this is a reflective art house. This is a reflective art piece on grief and death, and it's really trying to hone it in on how grief can slowly tear you apart if you let it. Then in one moment it's, yo, we having fun, we fighting underwater sea creatures, we're going this way, we have to find Riri Williams, we have Everett Ross here, he's making jokes, he's talking about what's happening in a broader MCU scope. It kind of leads to a confusion of tonality, and leaves it to feel less cohesive than its predecessor, which is more cohesive since they don't have to, unfortunately, or they don't have to speak upon a death in that movie. So it kind of makes the entire film more cohesive, except for, hey, we're gonna write a movie grieving about Chadwick or grieving about T'Challa, but also, hey, you also have to make a MCU film where the movie is guided by the plot. You have these two things just bashing heads, which kind of can make it feel less cohesive than it is. It can feel just all over the place and sometimes bloated, and like some scenes will go on for too long, some scenes won't go on for long enough, because the scenes that are going on for long enough are the emotional scenes, it's the grieving scenes, and this movie is about that, so those will go on more. But you also have a big chunk that has to be dedicated to the actual plot, and the plot isn't all that strongly written, because I don't feel like when Ryan was writing this movie, or when he was making this movie, I don't think they was really thinking about the plot. I think that's the part where I would say, like in the last movie, that's when he's here to make a product, that's when he's making a job, that's when he's here to do a job. When it comes to the main plot point is when he's here to do a job. It's here with the Riri Williams, Namor. Even though Namor is very good, and I like the actor who's playing him. I forgot his name, and I like him as Namor, and I like Namor's character, and I like Talakana, I like everything that happens there. But we kind of go through that real quickly because, like I said, that's attached to the main plot point, and the main plot point is a lot more snappier and smooth, and is going with like any other MCU movie. And it's trying to get, it's like I said, it's like the product part. He's just trying to get over that part. You know, he's trying to get, all right, you want this part, okay, you get the part, blah, 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 you get the Everett Rosses, you get the MCU stuff, all right, here you go, blah, 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 world building, all right, let's get back to the things that I actually care about, which is the passing of a friend with T'Challa or Chadwick Boseman. You see that care in writing and in scenes of Shuri, where that middle second act that is all revolving around Namor, he sort of just he cares about Namor's story, so you see that care in there. But when it comes to the plot and how Namor attaches to it, that is where it kind of get muddled, because I think there's a person in here, which is Riri Williams. She's a non sequitur. She doesn't matter. And I feel like when you're watching this, Ryan Coogler do not care about Riri Williams. He doesn't care about her character. He doesn't really care about who she is, what she's about. I don't even think she was supposed to probably be in this movie. I think that was a higher up. Kevin said, hey, we're making an Ironheart show. We would like to boost some of the ratings before it comes out. Do you mind just putting her in this film for us? And he said, sure. I mean, it's a black film. She's a black character. It was solid. All right, just put her in there. And I felt like he was like, all right, it's my job, I'll put her in there. And he did. But he didn't really write no character dimensions to her. He just sort of made her he just made her a plot device, because he didn't really care about her. So everything that has to do with Riri Williams becomes just very bad, cringy. Her dialogue and everything like that, and how she's portrayed, is sort of written like a old man trying to write cool Gen Z dialogue and be hip with the kids. And I would say that's the part that also gets where you start to not like it. There's nothing like that in Black Panther, I give it that. There's no character in there where it's just like full cringe, or you feel it's out of place, or you feel just doesn't matter to what's going on around us. Everybody in Black Panther has a purpose in it. Like I said, this is a big improvement on everything on the filmmaking aspect. The shots are a lot more inspired. I do think this movie has some barrel problems, not a lot. It's a pretty nice, fun ride. I've only seen it once. Maybe if I seen it again, now that I know how the pacing is gonna go, and I know how it's gonna move. Maybe it'll feel a lot more smoother, but because this time I was just looking for like an epic that sorta had the death of Chadwick Boseman and T'Challa permeating through it, but it's pretty much a bulk of the movie, but it's kind of getting weighed down. I think it could be great if it just focused on that, but it's getting weighed down by the MCU in a sense. The anchor is the whole Namor wanting Riri Williams plot and everything like that. Like all of that is just really weighing down this good movie, or this overall great movie with some pretty great performances. Angela Bassett is killing it. Letitia Wright is killing it. Everybody's killing it besides the actress who plays Riri Williams. Everybody else is killing it though. And I feel like all of these great performances and all this great stuff with the characters and the character studies going on is being heavily weighed down just by the MCU tropes that must be in this movie. If I was to give this movie a rating, I'll say it's an improvement on Black Panther, but not by that much. I think I gave Black Panther, the original one, like probably a 6 out of 10. I think this would be bumped up to about a 7.5. I don't think it's an 8. I think it would be an 8 if it just didn't have that Riri Williams element to it. But I don't want to knock off a whole entire point, because there is so much more that you can sort of ignore Riri Williams to a certain extent. So I'm not gonna knock it off completely. So I'm gonna give it a half point. So I'm gonna make it 7.5 out of 10. I do recommend this movie. I think you'll like it. I liked it. It was pretty fun. Pretty fun, pretty emotional. You'll cry, you'll laugh, you'll cheer. It's everything a blockbuster movie is supposed to have in it. Go out and see it. It's a 7.5, baby. Yahoo woo.